Joining us now with more on this is Gordon Chang. He's the author of Nuclear Showdown, North Korea Takes on the World. He's joining us live from New York. Gordon, thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you.
All right, so what do you make of this? I mean, you heard Julie Kurtz reporting that this may be about, sort of saber rattling during the transition of power. They showed us these facilities. Why?
I think it does have to do with the transition from Kim Jong-il to his 27-year-old son, who's not really prepared. Also, of course, this in general strengthens the regime because it says, look, we've got this additional nuclear facility. The world doesn't like it, but we still have.
Now, the U.S. Navy sending American warships to South Korea. This in response to North Korea's bombing of a South Korean island yesterday. Julie Kurtz, live for us from Washington now with the very latest. All right, Julie, so the president had a big meeting yesterday and finally responded to this.
Yeah, a show of force. The USS George Washington Carrier Group, 75 warplanes and a crew of 6,000 are on their way to the Korean waters. The White House says the naval exercise was planned before yesterday's attack on the Korean peninsula and is defensive in nature. You know, it comes, of course, a day after the reclusive North shelled a South Korean island near its border. At least 2 civilians and 2 South Korean soldiers were killed. The president, speaking to ABC News, would not speculate about military options at this point, but he affirmed the U.S. partnership with South Korea. Here's the president.
South Korea is our ally. It has been since the Korean War, and we strongly affirm our commitment to defend South Korea as part of that alliance.
The renewed tension follows revelations that North Korea's nuclear program is far more advanced than initially believed. Obama's inclination has been to engage the North in talks, but that stance is being tested now.
They don't fear his determination. It's like the actors like the North Koreans say, look, we can do this and get away with it because we have nothing to fear from Obama. And the Chinese similarly might be saying to themselves,
President Obama called the president of South Korea last night, saying the U.S. will work with the international community to strongly condemn the attack by the North. Back to you guys.
All right, we'll continue to follow that story throughout the day. Thank you very much, Julie. Now to the other story.
Demonstrators were burning North Korean flags on the streets of Seoul Wednesday, anxious and angry in the wake of the artillery attack on South Korea's Yeonpyeong Island the day before. They had scrawled the flags with graffiti and were carrying posters with pictures of North Korea's leaders crossed out. Park Chan-sung was heading the group.
North Korea's Kim Jong-il dictatorship launched an artillery attack on Yeonpyeong Island yesterday after sinking warship Cheonan last March. We are urging our government, along with the UN and international society, to strongly retaliate and shatter North Korea.
In North Korea's capital, the atmosphere was calm. The front page of the main Rodong Shinmun newspaper was devoted to leader Kim Jong-il visiting a factory. It was only on an inside page that an army statement about the exchange of fire appeared. It said North Korean forces reacted to provocation with a prompt and powerful strike, a statement echoed by citizen Ri Myung-hun.
The South Korean puppets should know very well that the way the Korean People's Army works is to respond to any provocative fire with a merciless shower of fire.
The attack on Yeonpyeong had certainly been dramatic, riveting the attention of people around the world. Authorities said the Coast Guard discovered the burned bodies of 2 islanders killed, men in their 60s, found at a construction site. Word of the first civilian casualties from the North Korean bombardment added more fuel to the fire of simmering tension in the region as more evacuees continued to flee the island. They had recounted stories of panic and destroyed homes. President Barack Obama has underlined the U.S. pledge to protect Seoul. The Allies reaffirmed plans to stage joint military exercises later this week, only 110 kilometers, some 70 miles south of the island. Karen Sloan, The Associated Press.
On a small island near their disputed border, North and South Korea have traded artillery fire in one of the bloodiest clashes since the Korean War. The South says the North opened fire on Yeonpyeong Island after South Korean forces refused to halt training exercises. A number of South Korean Marines were killed in the shelling. Others were injured, and civilians fled for their lives. President Barack Obama issued a statement denouncing what he called a provocation by an isolated North Korean regime. Yet the Koreas have clashed before in this region.
North Korea even claims that it has control or owns those islands. And so there is some disagreement, not only about fishing areas, but about the territory in that area as well.
For the administration, the shelling comes against a deeply worrisome background, the March sinking of a South Korean warship, allegedly by a North Korean torpedo, and fresh worries the North is expanding its nuclear weapons program. This new uranium enrichment plant was shown to a visiting American academic.
It was just stunning. In a clean facility, modern facility, looking down, I said, oh my God, they actually did what they said they were going to do.
All of which has the administration seeing a belligerent pattern.
We've seen this story before, and I your question is right on the money. We're not going to buy into this reaction reward cycle that North Korea seeks to perpetuate.
Some suspect factional infighting in Pyongyang now that Kim Jong-il has anointed his son to succeed him. Whatever the reason, for Obama, it's another foreign policy crisis to juggle when most Americans want his energies focused at home on a still struggling economy. Mark Smith, The Associated Press, The White House.